Hello, welcome to Easy Update. I've set a 30-minute timer. We're going to chat. How are you?
I'm okay.
What's your deal?
What's my deal? It's a really loaded question. What's your deal?
Got a lot of deals. Got a lot of deals going on. Mm-hmm. My guest today is Jess Lynn Verdi.
Verdi.
When
I was young, I thought that our last name was Birdie. It wasn't, though.
But it could be.
You could
change it.
Well, there's a lot of variations on J Bird, Jalen Bird. So, like, when I was doing music, and then I stopped doing music as like a career.
I've heard a song or two. It's good.
Yeah, not bad.
No, good. It was good.
No, I would say I'm good.
I asked if you could sing and you said yes, and I said, send me a thing, I didn't expect it to be good.
Okay.
Because I don't believe in people. And then you sent it to me and it was good. And I was like, oh, shit.
I recently told someone I had just met, they're like, oh, you play guitar? Because we were doing a D&D thing. And I was like, yeah, my first song I ever wrote was a great song. He goes, oh, that's weird to say. And I'm like, why is that weird? if I know it's good.
People aren't accustomed to people being like confident.
That's true. I'm just kind of sick and tired of of being demure so that people like me more. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because that's how
That's a societal thing.
I think so. I think there's a difference between overly confident and egotistical, or there's egotistical and confident, and you can walk that line.
Yeah. Like there's me and then there's Jones,
which is really uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
That baby is in for it. Really, two different personalities are going to be really tough.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this: how do you feel?
Almost never.
Okay, let's talk about that.
What were you going to say?
Well, no. I was going to see, how do you feel your 2020 is going in terms of like things you want to accomplish? But I think
it's going good so far.
Yeah. Okay. Good. So, would you consider yourself depressed?
I suffered from depression as a teen, from like 12 to 34. But
do people know that's what you were going through when you were that age?
Yeah, they diagnosed me with chronic depression as a teen.
Wow.
And then put me on Paxil, which was not tested for children. And it kind of like broke my mind, I think. I could have gotten on a class action lawsuit, I think, if I had cared about that sort of thing.
Wow.
Years ago. I looked it up like in my 20s. I was like, Paxil, like, and then I saw there was like a lawsuit and everything.
They
were
like prescription happy when we were children.
Yeah, and so I was on that, and then I didn't like that. It muted everything. I didn't like it, so I got off of it.
Oh, you did feel that way? Okay.
Oh yeah. I felt like it like took off everything, and then I think since then my brain, like the way it copes with things is like through like distancing, like depersonalization. So I went to an old therapist about depersonalization for a while. And then he said that, I mean, it's the simplest thing. I think I've told this story before, but it was the simplest thing where he was just like, what if that's okay? Like, what if that's just like how you see the world and that's fine? And I was like, what?
Wow. I actually love that. Because we want someone to empathize or be effusive. So what's wrong with that's how you view things?
Right. And it's not like I'm a machine or something. I have feelings, obviously. And like, I don't know. And like,
well, not everyone needs to subsist in the same way.
Well, true. And like, my current therapist talks about scaling, and it's like, my mom is dead, my dad is dead, like life hasn't been amazingly perfect all the time. I've been very fortunate in many, many ways. But it's like when things like that happen, like little things stop bothering you as much. So like I think I'm patient and like
Oh no, I fully agree.
Slow to anger because of that sort of stuff. Plus I just kind of like I was raised Christian, and then I stopped believing in that, and then got into like Zen Buddhism and stuff like that in college, and then kind of just morphed into absurdism, I guess. Like there's no real term for it, but it's like everybody thinks I'm a nihilist, which I guess is fine, but it's like I got a sense of humor about it.
Yes, I think so. In fairness, when you go, I feel nothing, it sounds like someone that might be crying for help.
Right.
So
I know that's what you think it sounds
well,
like.
no. I'm just saying I try not to worry about you because you're an adult who is functioning and doing more things than I am. So I don't worry about you. But the reason why I'm asking, and this clarification is helpful, is it a cry for help? Do you wish you felt things? And anyway, I'm asking a question I don't need to ask anymore based off of what you're saying.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean you don't need support. I'm not hearing that. Like
No, yeah. I do feel things, and it's funny. It's just like I just don't. As many things don't bother me as bother other people, I guess.
And I will say what I think our adulthood journey, we all come to that understanding in our own different ways.
Yeah.
I would say I've been incredibly fortunate. My battle has been also my mental state. The biggest issue I've had to deal with. I'm otherwise physically healthy, smart person, white, I don't mean that negatively, but like my life has been a little bit easier. I recognize
Definitely,
that.
there's a privilege there.
And I recognize that. So my issue has been my depression.
Yeah.
Or how it gets in my way or whatever. So little things would hurt me, or little things, interactions or breakups or something. And having gone through enough of those trials and emotional instability has also afforded me the same kind of calm and an acceptance of the world too. I think other people would see me as like really blah, 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 but that's also a training. I've trained myself to be an actor that reacts to stimulus in a way.
Yeah.
So there's definitely like a turned on Jessica, and there's like a calm Jessica. And I'm trying to achieve calmness with you right now.
Yeah. We were in here doing a fiasco nuts. So we've been filming for 2 hours and 36 minutes at this point. So like we've been in here for a while. I'm feeling calm and hungry.
Yeah, I'm ready to eat.
Yeah.
I'm totally ready
We'll
to
have
eat.
time to grab some food after
We're
this
gonna have
if you
to, I
want
think.
But then I got to stream at 2:30.
But we gotta do vegan because I'm doing that thing now.
Oh.
Yes.
I don't think I could be vegan. I need chicken to like live.
You love chicken.
I eat it almost exclusively. I had fish yesterday.
But what's your vegetable intake?
Low.
Yeah.
I get the green beans
That's nothing, my friend.
sometimes. I need to start drinking like a green juice or
Yes,
something.
or you can find different ways to deliver the chicken to your system, like on a salad or
Sometimes I have a chicken salad.
Yeah,
The
because
sushi I had yesterday had something green in it.
Well, I've heard you talk about how much chicken you intake, and it makes me concerned for your other nutrient intake. I do believe environmentally that you don't necessarily need to stop eating meat. I think we can reduce our amount of meat intake because we don't need it in reality.
I figure environmentally, I'm ahead of the curve since I stopped eating beef like 15 years
There
ago.
is something to be said for that. There is. And also, speaking of privilege, I recognize that my body is privileged. I'm privileged that my body can subsist on a vegan diet.
Yeah, it
people
sounds like a
can't.
nightmare to me.
Well, some people can't. I know
Yeah.
someone who's got the wrong kind of, not the wrong kind of things. Her immunity isn't good, and she needs to drink bone broth. And that's just, I know. But that's what she's got to do.
Bones?
Bone broth is a
Do
thing,
bones
bro.
There's
There's a lot of something in it.
immunity?
It's not necessarily correlative, but there's like the nutrients that they get is really substantial in a bone broth.
What's in bones?
This person also can't eat a variety of foods too.
Marrow.
Can you imagine? Like, it's true for a lot of people. Like, certain things are better for others than not.
Oh, absolutely.
So it's about learning that too. Apparently, based off of my blood pressure, I shouldn't be eating like nightshades.
Nightshades?
Which is like kale and broccoli and like iron heavy things.
Kale is a nightshade? I thought nightshade was poisonous.
No, well, it's referred to as nightshade, but nightshades are like types of like really fibrous
Heavy greens, thick leafy greens.
something like that. I'm obviously gonna get it wrong. Please correct me, but something like that. Because when I go from laying down to standing, my blood doesn't travel fast enough, so I get a little lightheaded.
I get lightheaded sometimes too.
Yes, that's it. It's a fucking
I get
thing.
dizzy from time to time.
What's the thing you wanted to ask? What's the thing you think about me that you never asked me, or like wish you knew about me, or don't like about me? Like, what's the thing? No, I really mean this.
That's several different questions.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to get to something. What's something like you would not imagine you would tell me, but I will allow you to tell me now?
tell you or ask you?
Both. Whatever you feel.
You go first. You put me on the spot. I don't know. I can't just think of something. Like,
Well, I'm just saying I'm an open book. Like, what's a question you have for me?
what's your skincare routine?
None.
That's a lie.
It's really not.
You don't wash your face.
For the last 5 days, I didn't.
You all right?
I don't know, dude. This hair is 5 days old.
I washed my hair yesterday for the first time in a good while.
Well, I'm really enjoying this. It
looks great.
It's really cute.
Some people, I have a hair type. My friend Marissa and I were talking about this, where we have a hair type where it like looks better if you let it go a little.
It's not true.
A little longer than some other people.
It's not true if it was down. If it was down, I'd look like a grease ball. This looks good though for some reason. I think it's in line with Messica Dirty and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I didn't. Part of my depression was because of a heartbreak a couple of years ago. It was like triggered it, made it much worse than I was able to manage with. And one of my goals to get me out of that depression was wash my fucking face every day. It was as simple as that. Because I wasn't raised to be very feminine. And my mother didn't take me under her wing and go, here's what a period is, darling. She just wasn't great about that.
Yeah.
And so she never pulled me aside and said, now you got to moisturize.
You learned it from Carrie like the rest of us.
Oh, God. Pour the blood on my face. That's what the Kardashians do.
What?
They have blood injected to their face. It's a whole thing.
Their own blood? Whose blood?
I think it's their own, but maybe not. Leave your...
Hey, if you got the money, I don't know.
No, it's a thing. People do it.
Do what you want, I suppose.
We're all trying to figure out the youth serum,
Ain't nothing to it.
Yeah, so one of the goals was wash my face every day because I would go to sleep with makeup on or whatever. So I have succeeded in that. The reason I didn't wash my face for the last 5 days is I didn't have makeup on. That doesn't mean I shouldn't have washed it. I probably should have, but I now only wash my face. Sometimes I bought like some night cream, and I just am not consistent with it.
Well, your complexion is good.
Yeah,
so
it could be better.
You got the right kind of skin tone or skin complexion.
I think
whatever.
I'm aging well. I could lose like 10 to 15 pounds, but yeah.
No, you could not.
Yes, I could. I was really thin last year.
Thin doesn't mean healthy, though.
No, but I'm not healthy. I'm not working out.
I started with a personal trainer, and I threw up the other day.
That's your body acclimatizing.
And I had a donut like 10 minutes before walking
God,
in there.
Don't we love donuts? So.
Not anymore. Not anymore, I don't.
That's all you need is a puke to put you off of some food.
Yeah, I don't eat Cheerios to this day because I puked in church one time after eating Cheerios as a kid, and I was like, never again.
And it was because the milk was bad. Had to be.
Ugh.
You know it.
Yeah.
The first thing I got put off was mashed potatoes and gravy because we had an instant mashed potato. Oh, it was.
That's a hard one to lose.
I learned to get back.
I got back on orange juice. Yeah. Remember when you were a kid and you had a flu and you had orange juice earlier and you're just like, blah, blah.
Well, first of all, why are they giving you orange juice?
Well, before you're sick, you had the orange juice. And then you realize later, like, oh no, I'm sick and I had orange juice.
And I'm vomiting acid.
Yeah, I'm vomiting 8 kinds of acid. Right
Jesus Lord. Do you think we could have a podcast? Do you think, someone...
It's going great so far.
Someone brought up that the urgency of having to get back to doing Fiasco kind of made it even more fun, like the conversations interspersed.
Oh, yeah.
And I kind of feel that. So I feel like if we were to do a podcast, we would need a structure.
I don't agree.
Okay, great.
I personally, and I mean, it's just part of how I do stuff, I guess. But like, I sort of have fun with these sort of freeform conversations where you never know where it's going to go and you just let it go.
Great.
Where it goes.
And I'm with you though.
And you have to not be afraid of pauses. That's the thing you learn is like. Plus, that's an old status move, like from theater school, because I started out in a theater conservatory as an actor in Chicago, and one of my favorite activities that we ever did was about status, and high status people
didn't need to talk.
Take their time.
I once closed a deal when with the guy who was about to buy some classes from me, and he was on the fence, and I stopped
buying
talking.
Classes from you.
Well, I was the salesman for a school.
Okay.
And I stopped talking when I should have still talked, and let him fucking sit in silence for a minute and a half. And then by the end of that minute and a half, he bought it.
That's a power move
It was
right
a
there.
power move.
That is a power move.
It was an experiment because I had just learned that as a technique. And I went, well, this is an opportunity.
My favorite, that's hardcore. My favorite thing in scenes was our acting teacher, Rick Murphy, would give us, he would just give you a piece of paper that said low status or high status. Yeah. But the best scenes were when both of them got the same. Like when two people had low status or two people had high status.
Because you don't know what the other person's
and you don't know what the other person, and so you're trying to get under them.
Oh, that is so cute.
So you're trying to be like more self-effacing than someone who's trying to be more self-effacing than you. It was fun.
We do that in improv. Status is one of the things.
Oh yeah, it's a classic actor's toolbox thing.
Couldn't agree more. I learned silence in acting when I was Nurse Ratched in Cuckoo's Nest.
Yeah.
Every role that I've played taught me something A, about myself, but B, also in acting. Like I needed to learn how to be sensual. So I was like Maggie on Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, and Nurse Ratched was like fucking robot.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, that's something else I learned from Rick was like
shout out Rick.
Shout out to Rick. Whatever happened to him? The moment before what?
My high school drama teacher was
well, this was college.
Okay.
Hang on, put a pin in that. We're gonna come back to that. We're gonna come right back to that. But I was just gonna say real quick that I learned from him that the moment before and the moment after is like when some of the most interesting stuff happens. Like people's reactions are more interesting than like what they're doing. So I always get bummed when things cut away. Like someone hears like crazy news and then it like doesn't show how the person takes it. You know, and it's just like you're being robbed because some writer or editor thinks they're being cute. And it's like, no, you're not creating stakes, you're removing stakes.
I would agree with that.
Typically.
Yeah, we have this funny thing, and maybe I'm not right in saying this, but just because someone has edited it a certain way or presented a thing a certain way doesn't mean it's exactly the way it should be.
Yeah.
Done.
Well, and that's the beauty of
art.
Art is like, there are so many, like, I've cut short films or whatever where we like go back and forth on stuff where it's like, man, there are 80 different ways we could do this scene and they're all interesting in different ways. And then eventually you just kind of pick your favorite at that moment and have to go with it. You know?
Then sometimes you have too many cooks, which is what I would argue happened with Star Wars. You just had too many people that you had to please and not piss off, and I didn't hate it, yeah. but they were trying to be too diplomatic, and then you lose the artistic process in that way.
I mean, yeah, they should have just had someone steering the ship and planned it out ahead of time.
Yeah,
it's like basic stuff.
Yeah,
pretty ridiculous. But your high school drama teacher is a crazy person? What?
Not a crazy person. He loved me. He thought I was the sun shined out of my ass, and I was only there. I know. I'm using my words correctly. He never saw it, my ass.
Good.
Very incendiary stuff.
Good. I mean, I don't know where the story's going, so I'm keeping my mouth shut.
It's not horrible. Except for the fact that I was there for the last 2 years of my high school career. I went to this new high school, and every show he did, he ended up telling me everything that we did since I met you was so that I could give you everything that I could teach you. So all these roles that I gave you, and I did learn a lot. I learned assistant directing, writing. You know, I directed a first place scene and did tech. I was like a fucking powerhouse. And everyone's like, she's sleeping with him. She's sleeping with him, because I didn't have friends. I was not popular. I was only an actor. Even a girl that I'd known since I was 5 was also in the drama company with us, and also a favorite of his, getting roles similar to mine, and had all the friends, and I didn't. And I hung out with him from lunch period till the end of the school day. We just were buds. Long story short, I graduate. I'll fill in the blanks. Well, I graduate. Nothing weird. He gives me this nice book.
Sure, yeah.
It's been a pleasure. You're one of my favorite students, Jessica. It's been a pleasure teaching him. And I come back and even help direct in the next year. Along this timeline, my father and I stopped talking. It was a really awful time period.
That's terrible.
Spoke back to him and severed the relationship. We didn't talk for 5 years. And in fact, we're not talking right now, too. So yeah, that's why I hate men. So I just had to make that joke.
I know.
So I remember coming to him to pick up my brother, who was in the drama program still. He was a senior. I had just graduated. I was like, my dad's not talking to me. And like, he was like sitting next to me and like rubbing my arm and just a little uncomfortable, like physical in a way that I had not experienced with him, and not comfortably so. So a little time passes and I clock it as weird. But before this too, I'm telling this all out of order. He's like, Jessica, I don't want to not stop working with you. Why don't we write a script together? And I go to his, classroom. He closes the door. And my dad always told me to be wary of a man that keeps you in a room
Closes the
with
door,
the door closed.
Yeah. Especially if he's between you and the door.
Well, it just was weird. And I was like, why do we need to close the door? It's hot. It's summer, So we go to like start pitching ideas about what we should write. And his script idea is about a drama club in school. And the star girl has a crush on the teacher. And I was the wrong kind of naive to not realize what he was doing, or I did and I just shut it out and went, okay, great, see ya, and we never came back to it. Because I think I even said, oh, I don't know, I don't think so, I don't think she'd like him. You know what I mean? I now realize his way of kind of testing the waters.
Yeah.
So the other girl who was the star alongside of me, who I still know, who I've known since I was 5, goes off to New York to do school for theater. And she gets a text in the middle of the night from his wife that says, I thought after you graduated it would be over, that your relationship would end, but I see that you talk to him all the time, and I look at my children and cry.
Whoa.
What I think happened, and he kind of told me, he told his wife, because she kind of felt mentored by him too.
Your friend.
Yes. And she was hotter than me, too. What happened is he told his wife that her number was my number.
Oh.
So that he could continue talking to me.
Oh, okay.
So,
but nothing had happened.
Nothing had happened. But it
never did happen.
It never did happen. Not between neither of us.
Right.
Nothing.
Right.
But I think...
But he wouldn't have said no, probably.
I think so. All of a sudden, these past moments start coming back. A, the script writing. B, we would like hang out during lunch and play Puzzle Bobble, and his like finger would like hit my pinky because like we were playing it on the computer.
Right.
And like every now and then there would be like a light brush.
Classic move.
Well, it was light, and he had let on to an issue maybe 5 or 6 years ago, where a couple he had to stop being close to students because there was a problem. And he didn't get more explicit than that, but there was like rumors about 2 girls that were involved in it.
Maybe we shouldn't have a podcast.
I was getting comfortable with silence. Why shouldn't we talk about that stuff?
Oh, no, I was just joking.
Okay.
That was marvelous. I was terrified during that entire story.
No, thank goodness it's not.
I'm glad it didn't go anywhere terrible.
But I will say...
for your sake.
Yeah. Yeah, it could have been much worse. It could have been much, much worse.
We had a teacher that got fired for
Getting freaky.
I can't recall if it was with a student. I think it was with another adult or substitute or something. But like it was in the choir room, so then they got fired.
There was a weird computer teacher that opened, like this was at the other school that I went to. I was a sophomore. He opens his first class ever saying, well, kids, just so you know, I wasn't fired from my last job. I left on my own accord because that girl wanted an A and I didn't give it to her. This is how he says, like, I basically was accused of something. I didn't do it. I decided to leave. And then this is the same guy who would like tug on her hair, push, like every time I had a bun, he'd go, look, it's a button. And apparently I had an issue with the teacher a couple of years later.
I
hate this.
No, it's fun. It's just like, how did we get here, and how do we get away from here?
Do we need to?
No, we don't need to do anything. I'm just more interested in, because I don't know anything about you. So like,
say that.
I mean, I know about you, but like, I don't know where you're from.
Okay, I'm from LA.
I did know that, actually.
One of the Valley, actually.
Oh, no.
I'm the oldest of 4.
4?
Yes. We were raised like we were Italian, but we're probably only 1/8 Italian.
All right.
I know we were embroiled in like and my mother had brought nothing to the table. She just was like, whatever you say, Guy, and that's my dad's name.
His name is Guy?
Yes, Gaetano.
Also, I will say, life's too short, man. Talk to your dad.
He decided to not talk to me.
Life's short. He'll be dead eventually.
I know, but the man that I was raised with is dead. But
the flip side of that coin is like, yeah, sometimes people are bastards and you don't need them. So
he's tough.
Make that choice and then move forward.
He's racist, prejudiced, sexist, and
so cut him out. You don't need him. Life's too short.
He got upset when I gave him a boundary.
Yeah, I'd say life's too short. Don't need him.
Doesn't mean just because someone doesn't work for your life is because he's a family doesn't mean I don't love him. I still love him, and it does suck. But I have decided that since he took the out and went, I'll fucking call you if I need you. I'm not gonna come and apologize to him for something I didn't do because he expected me to do that last time and I did. And I apologized to a father who's supposed to be talking to his child.
I would say then my advice was terse and wrong.
Well, and I appreciate where you're at though. And
I just generally say like. Everything has degrees, right? Where it's
Yes.
like, if you have a normal relationship with a parent and you're both just like mad at each other, I would say life is too short. They're going to die eventually.
Yes.
If they're like abusive and actually bad, then I would say get out and stay out.
And it's complicated.
Right.
Because I
And it's
love
always
him
complicated.
And he loves me, but I can't not have a conversation with him. That
Love's
doesn't,
not always an excuse.
Well, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
I can't keep arguing with him why black people aren't the problem in America.
Right,
Like this
right.
is the kind of conversations we have, and it's stressful. And he can't concede, and I won't concede anymore. And he thinks I'm just a liberal talking head, you know.
Yeah.
I've had a couple dreams that he's actually been dead, and so it's been a weird
Dreams like at night.
symbolic,
Yeah.
a symbolic
How did those make you feel?
sad.
Yeah.
Sad. And I do agree. Like my sister and I weren't talking for a year, but I also had to. I'm aware that some relationships may not end the way that I want them to, which sucks. And I know you have a lot of experience with that. But I also have to be true to what I'm able to offer people. Does that make sense?
Yeah. It's weird because I think, even though it's way earlier than I would have wanted, the deaths of my parents it's the right way for a relationship like that to end. Like when you're on great terms, there's nothing left unsaid, and
You felt like that happened.
yeah. And so in a weird way, it's the correct way for a relationship with your parent to end. It was just 50 years earlier than it needed to be.
Crazy.
Or 40 years earlier than it needed to be. But yeah, I mean, it would be so bad if someone died that you cared about when you were mad at them over a sweater or something, But I mean, when it's issues huge big time issues, or if someone is literally abusive, then yeah,
and I wouldn't
screw 'em.
put a huge abusive label on my father.
No, I didn't mean to say that, but just for anyone listening.
No, but yes, I would agree that you have to find where that line is drawn. And if you get off the phone with someone and you're crying every time, there's a fucking problem.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean I didn't have to look at what I offered in that issue too. I keep thinking about what was the last interaction with Kobe and his wife and the mom. I wonder.
Do they know that, or
I think it's something we'll never know.
and
but-
we shouldn't.
It's personal, right?
Yeah,
But
I mean, unless she decides to share that, it's nobody's business.
Well, I just mean what a vivid example of how no amount of money in the world will change our mortality.
Right.
And
You can't escape that.
No. And so your job is to exist. I kiss each of my cats when I leave. I'm like, I love you.
God, I'm processing
I know.
this.
I'm like, I love you. And I have to touch each one because God knows I could come back home and one of them is dead. You never know.
It's very true. I'm so allergic to cats
know,
that
but-
I can't appreciate them. I know it's just because I'm so allergic to them that they just make me so uncomfortable. But I just can't get it. I love dogs, but cats just don't seem to care.
Oh, it's not true.
It's not true?
It's not. And I do believe that there's the
There's a
right
stigma.
cat for a person. So I had a string of friends' cats or aunts' cats that didn't like me because they weren't fucking my cat. Like the chemistry wasn't there. And now
So if we hook them up with your cats, then they'd like you?
No.
Oh.
The cats that I have found me.
Yeah.
They all came to me and they all went, whatever you smell like, I want it. And so now we're like,
I heard a thing that's probably false.
okay. I want
years
the 30
ago.
minutes to go up right now.
Yeah. That